What is up, everybody? Today we're changing things up. We're looking at two cars instead of just one, but we're going to be settling a battle that has been waging here in the United States for the past 50 years. We're going to be looking Mustang versus Camaro. Now, obviously, I can't be totally honest in this because this is my personal Mustang and this is my father's Camaro. So I'm going to be bringing in my buddy Jerry in a few minutes. We're going to be going over our first impressions and then getting into who really wins this war. So to be totally fair in this test, not only am I bringing in Jerry, but these cars are the exact same year. They're both 2001 model years. They are both V8s with traditional 3-pedal manuals. So strap in and let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start here in my own personal Mustang. As you know, this is my daily driver. If you didn't know that, you need to go watch that Buick GN episode. We take this out and we do a burnout contest against the Grand National. That was a lot of fun. So, of course, I mean, everybody knows, who knows me, knows I'm the king of burnouts, obviously. So we always do that, and you should go check that video out. Okay, so I'm letting Jerry drive right now so we can get a bit more of an honest segment on what my car is like to drive, because obviously I'm going to be biased. So Jerry, what are your first impressions of the Mustang?
The clutch on this car is really heavy. And also I'm still having a little trouble finding just the right seating position.
Yeah, the seating position is a little weird in this car. I don't know what it is. They're very comfortable for because I actually live about 40 miles from school. So when I have to commute back and forth on the weekends, these seats are amazing for going on the freeway. They're really comfortable, but they're just like when you actually have to do some canyon driving in this car, it's just weird. It's not the most comfortable position for really hard driving.
So the times I've driven this car so far, the power is pretty good. It's more than enough for daily use, and it's really responsive.
Yeah, that's one thing I do find really surprising, because the Camaro has a lot more power, but this car always seems more responsive when you want to punch it or you want to horse around with it. It's weird, because I don't know why that is, but I don't know. Somebody who's a lot smarter than me, who knows more about this Ford engine, you can tell me why. But what about suspension? Like ride comfort?
Ride comfort, it's fairly decent. I'm used to cars with pretty compliant suspension, so on some of the bumps it crashes a little, but nothing too bad, and definitely bearable for daily use.
Bearable?
It's manageable.
Oh, okay.
But you have to understand where I'm coming from with this.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to tell us what your daily driver is then?
I drive a Lexus GS 300.
Okay, so yeah, you are pretty used. That's a pretty cushy car. So initial impressions then, 10-second summary, go.
Powerful, fun, but a little rough.
All right. So that's the initial impression for the Mustang. We're going to jump over into the Camaro now, and we're going to see what our first thoughts on that are. Alright, so now we're in the Camaro, and having jumped between the two cars, my first reaction is to talk about like Jerry was saying, the car is a lot of fun and it's a bit hard to handle, the Mustang. This car, you never get that impression. Like, this car has been in my spoiler, this car is actually my father's car. And this car has been in our family for 4 years. And in those 4 years, like only once, or twice, have I ever been in a situation where the back end of this car came out when I didn't want it to. The Mustang, that's basically a daily occurrence. At some point during the day, when I'm driving the Mustang, the back end comes out when I don't want it to.
I can vouch for that.
Well, yeah, so the thing is, I don't know why, or I'm assuming it has to do with the gearing in the cars, because this car is more powerful, more torque, but I've very rarely ever gotten the tires loose on this car.
And the shifting's probably smoother.
Yeah, the shift on this car is so smooth. Like, it's weird because if you sort of look at the way the cars are built, this car has the racing seats, the 6-speed, it's got more power, so you'd expect it to be the one that's a bit more focused on driver experience, trying to make you go really fast. And part of that is going to be, you know, the heavy clutch, the heavy clunky gearbox like you get in a proper sports car. This car just doesn't do that. It's weird. I don't know why they decided to do that, but it does make it really easy to shift this car, and I can shift this car a hell of a lot faster than the Mustang. But otherwise, it just, like, it doesn't have any of the brutality in it. Sometimes it doesn't quite feel as fast. Like, you know what I'm saying, Jerry? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Then let's see, other first impressions. Personally, I'm never a fan of a black interior, so I won't talk too much about the interior.
Okay.
Like, I've always preferred a brighter interior.
Same.
But, you know, in terms of the interior quality, I would probably give it to the Camaro.
I agree.
Yeah, the Camaro just has that little, like, you know, the materials here are a lot nicer to the touch. The radio doesn't look quite as dated as the original faceplate in the Mustang does. The controls are a bit more logical. And let's see. I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, the glove box actually can carry your registration, your manual, and all the other crap you need to keep in there. Like the Mustang, I barely have enough room for my registration and the paperwork to remind me when I need to change those tires. That is literally all I have in the glove box. In this one, you can fit all kinds of crap. So I don't know what Ford was thinking on this on the interior of the Mustang. Like, sure, I prefer the look of it because it is tan, but in terms of quality, it's just so much nicer in this Camaro. Like, also, like they're both 2001s, but this one has, you know, the full steering wheel control. Mustang doesn't. The cruise control on this one is much better than the one on the Mustang. It actually works better. Like the Mustang, you're sitting there mashing the buttons on the wheel for a few minutes to try and get it on. This one, you just flick it on, press the button, you're done. So, yeah, again, build quality. I'm actually giving it to GM for once, you know, because especially in like the past couple of years, like GMs have not been doing so great in terms of build quality. But at this point, you know, the 2001s, definitely giving the Camaro the build quality check. So, yeah, so in short, for the first impressions, the Mustang is a lot more of a brutal car. You can have a lot more fun with it if you want to horse around, but if you actually want to go kind of quickly and keep the car planted on the road like a proper sports car, the Camaro is going to be the one you want. Also, side note, yes, my car has some fiddling with the exhaust, but it sounds so much better than this car. I don't know what it is. This car just, like, when you bury it, it just doesn't sound that great. Even when you're behind it, it just doesn't sound good. Now, before we finish here today, we should probably go over a few of the important numbers. The Mustang uses a 4.6-liter V8 made to a 5-speed manual transmission. The engine is putting out 260 horsepower and 302 pound-feet of torque, but my car is modified with a K&N intake, which they claim adds 7 horsepower, but let's be honest, it's probably more like 5. The Camaro, on the other hand, features a 5.7-liter V8 with 310 horsepower and 340 foot-pound of torque, made it to a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, next week we're going to be taking a deeper look at the driving dynamics of the cars as we take them through a little bit more of a twisty road instead of just dead straight roads and doing burnouts with them. So please do come back next week and we'll be talking about which one has the better driving dynamics and which one we would actually own.